Hey folks, so I wanted to make a video about the Flowerslide escape in Clocktown during first cycle, because first off, Tunglecroc has a pretty good video already explaining how this works, but there's some new stuff that kind of makes it a little bit easier, and I also just wanted like a place where you could just get all that information in one video. Now, before I talk about that, there are a lot of people that do a method of this trick where what they do actually is they land on this fence to do the restricted items to pull out the bomb. And this is actually probably a little bit easier for the restricted items. But then the problem with that is you have to go back here, put down the bomb, and then get the perfect angle to do the slide, which is really bad. And I'd say it's really inconsistent, and you shouldn't try to do it. The setup that I'm going to show you does not have that problem, and it's not any slower. Okay, that is the big misconception. People always say, well, the other method's faster, right? Because you can just instantly land on this fence pretty much. You don't have to wait for Deku Link to fall all the way down. Whereas with the method I'm going to show you, you have to wait to descend all the way to the ground, which, yeah, is kind of slow. But it's not any slower because you have to wait for in-game time anyways, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so let's get into the setup then. So first off, what you want to do, I guess let me show you with the camera here, is you want to line up just like this. So the benefit of this setup is you can line up the angle that you need right from the get-go. So you want to line up the angle. You can also line it up like when you're in the flower just by turning. It's kind of hard to see. I use the camera on the top of the 3DS to actually like tell me where the middle of the screen is. So it's pretty easy to line up if you use the camera as a visual cue. And then what you want to do is you want to launch out of the flower and hold the L button. And then at any point you want to equip bombs. You don't need to switch them with Deku Nuts. You can actually just put them on a blank button. Or you can like switch them to, you know, a blank button. Either one works. But basically, yeah, you have to put bombs on. You also need to have Deku Nuts in your inventory for this trick to work. Now, this next part is probably the trickiest part of them all. You have to have a pretty good idea of when the frame that you need to pause is coming up on. We're going to be using home buffers. Another thing about this that I probably should have put at the beginning of the video is that you probably should not attempt this trick if you are not using a new 3DS or if you don't have a Circle Pad Pro, because both of those or either of those allows you to do frame perfect home buffering so that you can advance frames one at a time, or at least easily, whereas the other method or doing it without a new 3DS or Circle Pad Pro makes that a lot more difficult to get one frame buffers and pretty inconsistent. So I would not go for this trick if you don't have either of those. So anyways, you're going to keep descending, and then you're going to want to watch Link's feet in relation to the flower at the ground. And then the other thing you want to watch is the flower petals above Link's head that are spinning, specifically the one on the left. That's going to be your visual cue. And you're just going to hold the L button and continue falling. And once I get closer, you want to watch Link's feet first, because when they start getting close to the flower right about there. Okay, I actually paused on the very first frame that this works on. And again, you kind of have to get a feel for when Link's feet are close enough to the flower that you launch out of, because once the flower petals above Link's head do a full rotation, they're going to look exactly the same as they do right now. So in say like 4 or 5 frames, the flowers above Link's head are going to look the same. Now, this is the first frame, and if you look at the left flower above Link's head, you can see that one of the flower petals is just pointed like pretty much straight up at a 90-degree angle right under like the foot counter, right? Now, if you use this frame, what you have to do is you have to hold down the bomb icon on the touch screen. You can't use the Y or the X button. You have to hold it down using the touch screen when you go back into the home menu. And that's because using the touchscreen takes like 2 extra frames to activate in this situation. So this is the first frame that works. I'm going to show you the other frame that works too, and it's actually 2 frames later than this. So I'm going to advance 1 frame and 2 frames. Now that same flower petal that I was talking about before, it's now at more of like a 45-ish degree angle, like facing away from Link's head. It's kind of pointing towards the disabled internet in the top left corner of the screen. It's kind of pointing in that direction. You can see it up there. Now this frame, when you get this frame, you want to use the physical Y or X button to pull out the bomb. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk to the right. I'm going to hold L, and I'm going to strafe to the right to put the bomb down. And then I'm going to hit the R button while still holding L to drop the bomb. And then I'm going to strafe back to the flower. And then I'm going to do a shield turn towards the camera because I need to be facing... towards the camera. Okay, so I'm going to pull the bomb, strafe away, drop the bomb with shield, strafe back to the flower without losing my angle, and then do a 180 turn. And then I need to start looking for frames again. So let's do that. Oh, shoot. Well. Can't see the bomb. You know what? You know, that was a great warm up. Let's try that again. That was silly, but I'm just gonna do the RI again, and then I'll explain the rest. I don't feel like cutting this video up. It's dumb. So sorry, it's gonna be a bit long. All right, so this is the touchscreen frame. So I'm holding the touchscreen. Okay, so as you can see now, I'm facing away. I'm holding the R button. And so now the frames you need to start looking for are, well, I'll show you, but it's when the bomb starts to grow. I would say this part is pretty easy to do unbuffered if you want to, but it's definitely riskier because it's a 2-frame window. Sometimes it's 3 frames, but not always. So I don't really know why that happens. Okay, so not this frame. You can see the bomb just started to expand. So this frame is going to work. The first like bigger red bomb frame. And then the next frame is also going to work. So the big blue. And then you just need to hold R and A. And then hold right for a couple of seconds. And then hold left. And you'll slide right into the loading zone. And that is Flowerslide Escape from Clocktown during first cycle. Now, the one thing about the method that I just used is, as I said, it's not any slower because you need in-game time anyways. But if you mess it up once, you probably will not have enough time. So you pretty much need to get it first try, but it's, I would say, a lot easier than the other method. So it's actually not a very big deal. So I hope that helped. I try to be thorough, but it's kind of a complicated trick. So, as always, if you have any questions, hit me up. Hope this helped. See ya.